Hey, it's me. Welcome to my channel. Today in front of us we have the WLtoys 144001, 144001. Point is, we have one of the best budget entry RC cars you can get in the hobby. The other day I was at Hobbytown looking at cars, and quite frankly, I didn't want to spend the amount of money that they're charging. So I asked my good old friend ChatGPT for any recommendations for a pretty good budget car, and I gave it these certain parameters. Number one, had to be smaller than 1/10 scale. Number two, it had to be four-wheel drive and electric. Number three, it had to be less than $150. And number four, it needed to have a pretty decent aftermarket. And so after a few options they recommended, I ended up sticking with the WLtoys 144001, and has a lot of interesting things to it. Some people consider this borderline hobby. Some people consider it very close, but still toy grade. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to take it out for a spin outside, and then we're going to come back inside, take it apart and upgrade it to make it a little bit more acceptable for those who are above the age of 14, which is recommended on the box. So let's go ahead, let's get her outside, and let's run it on the stock lithium ion battery that it came with. So here I'm showing some clips of me driving the car around at one of the local schools. Pretty zippy, honestly. I would give this to not a 14-year-old, but a 16-year-old person that I can trust. Actually just crashed a car, so I'll whip it around, worried about its health, and I think I'll make a comment about it here in a second. I hope she's still good. Oh well. And then after I just made that comment about me hoping for the health of my brand spanking new 144001, I immediately, oh, that might have been it, just decimated against the curb. Battery's out, front end looks fine, still steering, wheel spin. I think the battery just popped out. Yeah, the front end's getting mangled though. I smell burning plastic. Hopefully that's nothing important. Oh shoot, I need two hands for this. I was so dumbfounded by the crash that I didn't even see the battery sticking out, and I even let my dog slip into the camera. So I apologize for the jump scare. I'll put a time so you can skip, so you don't see my abhorrent heels. And then, like any responsible 20-something-year-old male, I of course brought this itty-bitty RC car into some tall, thick grass. It's actually faring quite well for what it is. It's ripping up and down the hillside. Now, the stock suspension on this thing is pretty foul, really bad. Even though they're aluminum body shocks, or so they say, they have a tendency, and they're known to pop off the caps. But no, I mean, look at this thing. Look at this. Bink, little jump, and of course I flip it again. Just fell on my ass. Hurt like a bitch. But we're good there. As you heard me just say, I too slipped up and down the hill like these little stock wheels are, and I hurt myself. And of course I flipped the car again. These wheels are okay, they're fine. Again, I'm putting them out of their element, so I can't really rag on them too hard, but it does seem to lose a lot of traction on concrete, especially if you go past like a third of the throttle. So be careful with the stock wheels on this thing. Sun, hello. Texas heat is no joke. It's 6 p.m. and 100 degrees, and I think I flip it again. While I'm trying to recover my buggy, let me talk about the specs a little bit. This little 1/14th scale race-inspired buggy is powered by a pretty sizable 550 sized brush motor running a 27-tooth pinion. A big downside of this thing is a 2-in-1 combo with the ESC and receiver, and then the servo is a 5-wire plastic geared itty-bitty thing, and that's just not optimal for these faster vehicles. So whenever you upgrade one thing, you kind of have to upgrade everything else. So that's what I ended up doing later on in the video. The battery it came stock with is a 2-cell Lion pack. I mean, Lion, they're not the worst things ever, but it doesn't really pack the punch that the LiPo battery would. And it came with a super, super slow charger and just not really ideal. I talked about the suspension earlier, not the best, excuse me. It comes with a metal drive shaft, but with a plastic spur gear, which is interesting. I ended up pushing the little Lion pack to its limits, and the car just died in the middle of the parking lot. So let's get it back on the table, let's dissect it, and let's make this thing a little bit quicker and more fun. We're back, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Man, this thing is quick. Very, very fun to drive. I was ripping it up and down the parking lot. I mean, this thing, I would trust it with a very reliable 14-year-old or a not so reliable 16-year-old. The choice is yours. Who you want to gift this thing to. I mean, man, this thing was nimble, I think. Well, nimble enough for a $100 budget RC car. Now, this thing is definitely hobby grade, but I can see the argument that it's close, man. It's close. My unit in particular came defective from the factory, wherever I bought it from. The front driver's side turnbuckle, or the steering rack, the plastic steering rack, is slightly warped, and I'm gonna put a clip of it right here, and it's not adjustable. I thought it would be because there's a hole drilled through the metal rod of the turnbuckle, but it's not. It's all just solid construction. Well, solid, not really though. It's plastic and kind of chinsy. So that is definitely going to be one of the first things I swap out after the whole power transplant I'm going to do to this thing here in a second. Another thing, I know y'all seen me flip this thing a bunch of times in the clips of me running it. The underside of the chassis is full metal. So it kind of acted like a heat dissipation unit for the motor, but it heated up really bad because the motor itself is notoriously known to get extremely, extremely hot. Now, I don't think that's a big issue if you're going to run it for a while, but if you're going to run it for a super long, extended period of time, it could cause some stuff to break down prematurely. And like I said in a clip, it smelled like burning plastic, so some things were getting affected and were releasing some sort of aroma that wasn't quite wanted. So pardon the hideous watch tan and the beer gut in this video. The summer body is on its way mid to late July. I promise. So here I am displaying, showcasing the parts I decided to run with. I got a very lightweight servo, 18 grams JX servo, full Metal Gear digital off of Amazon. Next up, I have a metal faceplate for the motor and a pinion gear, 27 tooth metal also for the new motor we're going to be running. ChatGPT did warn me that his 27 tooth might be a lot, but we're going to run it anyway. Next, I have a receiver. It's just a standard radio link receiver. An RXFG, I reckon, 6-channel. It has a built-in gyro. We love that. We take that. And then nice little carrying case for the combo. Star of the show, the heat shrink and the zip ties and the 3M tape. Man, that right there alone is worth the cost of what I paid for this thing, which wasn't too bad. I think it was like about $50. A programming card, not a big thing of this day and age, but yet we're still running them. Instructions, never going to look at those in my life. And then, last but not least of that side of the carrying case, a Dean's to XT60 adapter. I'm not a big adapter guy, so I'm gonna cast that to the side. Might even take it apart so I can get those plugs. One of the stars of the show is the ESC 60 amp chonky hobby fans waterproof ESC. Man, this thing is going to be a very tight squeeze in that 1/14 scale chassis. I'm just inspecting it, looking good. Next up, I'm going to pull out the heat sink and the heat sink fan. Pretty sizable fan, honestly, and a good looking heat sink. Again, with the tightness of the chassis and the body, I don't know if I will be able to get this on, but comes with the JST plug. The ESC does not have an opening for that, like some of the Traxxas and other bigger name brand ESCs come with. So I'm gonna see what I can do with that. Maybe I can figure something out. I know I can. And then the star of the show, of course, the carrying case. We're gonna rock that thing with the drones. Not really. It's gonna be this motor, this absolute unit, massive, about 2 feet long motor we got here. I'm just messing. It's a 3650 sized brushless motor rocking a respectable 4300 kV, which translates to about 38,510 RPM on a 2 cell. I do not believe that. Let me look into it and I'll add text and post to confirm it or not. But nonetheless, this is an insane little motor to toss into our once brushed system. Overall, this new unit, ESC and motor, can handle a 2S, which is probably what I'm going to run, up to a 3S. Nothing crazy, but quite frankly, I don't want to toss anything bigger that'll shred the stock components and make my life a living hell. So we're going to go ahead and just start stripping this thing down. Pause. And we're going to try to make sure to not break anything as we install these new electronics. Hey, so I am a knucklehead, and I guess me doing this behind a camera, or I guess in front of a camera, uh, kind of stressed me out for no reason at all. So I skipped a lot of crucial steps, like making sure all the electronics work before I put them in the car, getting all my tools out before I started working on things. As you see, I'm using a line scissors for a fishing reel to start snipping the zip ties off. So I'm a mess. I also sped this video up by like 3 times the speed, simply because there's so many people already on YouTube who have already gone through and shown, hey, how to install this. But if enough of y'all start chirping in the comments, I will go back through and show you what I did. Now, some problems that I did end up facing with this build was the stock internals were pretty chintzy, and I was afraid that I was going to strip out a bunch of screws because they either went into plastic or the screws themselves weren't that great. So I'm taking a lot of precautions here, which kind of inhibited my work. And then another thing about this car is that after I installed the new electronics, they were pretty big. Like the motor wires coming out of the motor and the ESC were in the way a lot and very stiff, and so they kind of caused problems, and I had to line them up just right so they wouldn't be super out of the way, hanging out the chassis. Another big thing about this, if you do not know, the stock body shell that comes with this car is very slick, which is cool. It looks great, but it doesn't really work well with upgraded internals, and I won't be using it anymore because the motor wires and the ESC and all that stuff was just sticking up and so high off the chassis that the original sleek and slick body just couldn't go back on. So in my phase 2 video I'm going to be releasing here soon, you're going to be seeing me install a different kind of body, and I'm also going to be installing some metal internals to the car. Hopefully that can handle the new drivetrain I ended up putting in this thing right now. So I'm going to let some of this clip play, and I'm going to come back in later on with some more thoughts after I tinkered around and installed the new components. Are you ready? Here I present to you the WLtoys 14401, personally modified by yours truly. This special unit, I already talked about the parts I put into it. Now, installing these new powertrain parts were a little bit tricky at times, simply because of the plastic surrounding a lot of these components. But I mean, I think the biggest problem is that the body shell that came stock with it will not fit. The motor wires and the ESC are too chunky. But fear not, for next week's episode, I will show runtime of these new components alongside the new body I plan on putting on this thing and the aluminum upgrades that I'm going to be doing to this vehicle so it has a chance to survive the new power it's putting down. If you like what you saw, or you can't wait to see my new content coming out here soon, which, trust me, you will like it, please give me a subscribe and hit me with a like and maybe even a comment in the section. I'm really eager to see what you have to say. thank you so much for giving me your time. See you.